Hello everyone, once again I welcome you all to this e-learning platform of KRT Arts, BH Commerce and AM Science College, popularly known as KTHM College. In today's session, we are going to deal with the novel The Old Man and the Sea by Ernest Hemingway. From the cover page of the text itself, you will get the idea about this old man and the sea, how this old man is trying his level best to catch the fish. Before we start our session, we'll deal with the key facts of The Old Man and the Sea by Ernest Hemingway. The full title of the novel is The Old Man and the Sea. The author Ernest Hemingway. The type of work is novella. Genre used is it's a parable or it's a tragedy. Time and place, it was written in 1951. It was written in Cuba. It was first published in 1952. The novel is narrated by an anonymous narrator. And point of view of this novel is that sometimes the narrator describes the characters and events objectively, that is, as they would appear to an outside observer. However, the narrator frequently provides details about Santiago's inner thoughts and dreams. The tone used in the novel is that despite the narrator's journalistic, matter-of-fact tone, his reverence for Santiago and his struggle is apparent. The text affirms its hero to a degree unusual even for Hemingway. The place where the novel is set is a small fishing village near Havana, Cuba, the waters of the Gulf of Mexico. The protagonist of the novel is Santiago, the old man. The major conflict in the novel is that for 3 days, Santiago struggles against the greatest fish of his long career. The rising action of the novel is that after 84 successive days without catching a fish, Santiago promises his former assistant, Manolin, that he will go far out into the ocean. The marlin takes the bait, but Santiago is unable to reel him in, which leads to a 3-day struggle between the fisherman and the fish. The climax in the novel is that the marlin circles the skiff while Santiago slowly reels him in. Santiago nearly passes out from exhaustion, but gathers enough strength to harpoon the marlin through the heart, causing him to lurch in an almost sexual climax of vitality before dying. Following action in the novel, Santiago sails back to shore with the marlin tied to his boat. Sharks follow the marlin's trail of blood and destroy it. Santiago arrives home, touching only the fish's skeletal carcass. The village fishermen respect their formerly ridiculed peer, and Manolin pledges to return to fishing with Santiago. Santiago falls into a deep sleep and dreams of lions. The themes in the novella: the honor in struggle, defeat and death, pride as the source of greatness and determination. The motives in the novella: crucifixion, imagery, life from death, the lions on the beach, and the symbols used in the novel are the marlin, the shovel-nosed sharks, and the foreshadowing in the novel: Santiago's insistence that he will sail out farther than even before foreshadows his destruction. Because the marlin is linked to Santiago, the marlin's death foreshadows Santiago's own destruction by the sharks. Now we'll have the look at the context and the plot overview of the novel The Old Man and the Sea by Ernest Hemingway. Ernest Hemingway was born in Oak Park, Illinois in 1899, the son of a doctor and music teacher. He began his writing career as a reporter for the Kansas City Star. At age 18, he volunteered to serve as a Red Cross ambulance driver in World War I and was sent to Italy, where he was badly injured by shrapnel. Hemingway later fictionalized his experience in Italy in what some considered his greatest novel, A Farewell to Arms. In 1921, Hemingway moved to Paris, where he served as a correspondent for the Toronto Daily Star. In Paris, he fell in with a group of American and English expatriate writers that included F. Scott Fitzgerald, Ezra Pound, Stein, and Max Ford. In the early 1920s, Hemingway began to achieve fame as a chronicler of the disaffection felt by many American youth after World War I, a generation of youth whom Stein memorably dubbed the Lost Generation. His novels, The Sun Also Rises and A Farewell to Arms, established him as a dominant literary voice of his time. His spare, Charles style of writing was revolutionary at the time and would be imitated for better or for worse by generations of young writers to come. After leaving Paris, Hemingway wrote an bullfighting, published short stories and articles, covered the Spanish Civil War as a journalist, and published his best-selling novel For Whom the Bell Tolls. These pieces helped Hemingway build up the mythic breed of masculinity for which he wished to be known. His work and his life revolved around big game hunting, fishing, boxing, bullfighting, endeavors that he tried to master as seriously as he did writing. In the 1930s, Hemingway lived in the Key West, Florida, and later in Cuba, and his years of experience fishing the Gulf Stream and the Caribbean provided an essential background for the vivid descriptions of the fisherman's craft in The Old Man and the Sea. In 1936, he wrote a piece of Esquire about a Cuban fisherman who was dragged out to sea by a great marlin, a game fish that typically weighs hundreds of pounds. Sharks had destroyed the fisherman's catch by the time he was found half delirious by other fishermen. This story seems an obvious seed for the tale of Santiago in The Old Man of the Sea. A great fan of baseball, Hemingway liked to talk in the sports lingo, and by 1952 he badly needed a win. His novel Across the River and Into the Trees, published in 1950, was a disaster. It was his first novel in 10 years, and he had claimed to friends that it was his best yet. Critics, however, disagreed and called the work the worst thing. Hemingway had even written. Many readers claimed it read like a parody of Hemingway. The control and precision of his earlier prose seemed to be lost beyond recovery. The huge success of The Old Man and the Sea, published in 1952, was a much needed vindication. The novel won the 1953 Pulitzer Prize for Fiction, and it likely clinched the Nobel Prize for Hemingway in 1954, as it was cited for particular recognition by the Nobel Academy. It was the last novel published in his lifetime. Although the novella helped to regenerate Hemingway's wilting career, it has since been met by divided critical opinion. While some critics have praised The Old Man and the Sea as a new classic that takes its place among such established American works as William Faulkner's short story The Bear and Herman Melville's Moby Dick, others have attacked the story as imitation Hemingway, and find fault with the author's departure from the uncompromising realism with which he made his name. Because Hemingway was a writer who always relied heavily on autobiographical sources, some critics, not surprisingly, eventually decided that the novella served as a thinly veiled attack upon them. According to this reading, Hemingway was the old master at the end of his career, being torn apart by, but ultimately triumphing over critics on a feeding frenzy. But this reading ultimately reduces The Old Man and the Sea to little more than an act of literary revenge. The more compelling interpretation asserts that the novella is a parable about life itself, in particular, man's struggle for triumph in a world that seems designed to destroy him. Despite the soberly life-affirming tone of the novella, Hemingway was at the end of his life more and more prone to deliberating bouts of depression. He committed suicide in 1961 in Idaho. this is all about The Old Man of the Sea. In the next lecture, we are going to have a look at the plot overview and the characters in The Old Man of the Sea. Thank you.